Stone Colby's right there with him. Checkered flag is out. Who gets it done? It's a photo finish for Branch Hatch coming to the line.
For the push, I don't know. This is going to be a photo finish.
Oh, Stone Colby taking the checkered flag to the inside. Who's it going to be? It's a photo finish. Give it to Brendan Burt. Conquers Watkins Glen. Gets turned across the line.
Thank you for joining us, folks. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's a pleasure. Round 6 brings Apex Motor Club and West Coast Sim Racing to a place where momentum is priceless and mistakes become expensive. Virginia International Raceway. Tonight, the MX-5 field faces one of the most demanding natural terrain road courses in North America, as VIR combines high-speed commitment through the climbing S's, heavy braking into Oak Tree, and the rapid downhill transition through the roller coaster and hog pen. There are places to attack here, but there are just as many places where patience has to win. In the MX-5, every bit of speed carries matters. A missed apex can hurt for an entire straightaway, while a strong exit can create the draft needed to turn defense into offense. That means drivers cannot afford to waste momentum, overwork the tires, or force side-by-side racing where the circuit simply does not leave the room. And with round 6 underway, the championship picture is beginning to take shape. Every point becomes more valuable. Every mistake becomes harder to recover from. And every battle carries a little more weight than it did at the start of the season. This is Apex Motor Club and West Coast Sim Racing, round 6 of MX-5 at Virginia International Raceway. Let's go racing. Taking a look at the track guide, folks, it'll be a 3.24 mile run or 545 feet of elevation here around VIR. Couple keys to the race for the drivers to consider is obviously carrying speed and momentum through the S's. We've heard that time and time again here at VIR. Number 2, getting the Oak Tree exit pitch perfect, picking your passing zones carefully, and staying composed through the roller coaster and hog pen section. Tonight, I'm your host, Sagar Bakshi, taking you from green to checkered flag as usual on behalf of West Coast Sim Racing. We took a brief look at the championship standings. Take a quick look again. Brandon Burch leads Jeremy Fletcher by just 3 points, and Slater Colby 5 points back as well. Nico Colby, Luke Cantor, Josh Hunter, Stone Colby, Connor Cunningham, Joe Rainey. Then Lincoln Fox, Warren Johnson, Josh Farrer, Jensen McKelkey, Darren Colby, Diego Valderrama, Eddie Akeen, Jacob Ballin, and Jason Holcomb round out the top 20. Virgil Kaktak trying to show his stripes tonight. Josh Hunter being the next driver across the line, but it's Fletcher who's at the top of the charts with a 2:04.974 currently. That'll be the pole position time, and the next back will be Nico Colby, who's about a second away from that time. A little off there for Jeremy Fletcher at the Oak Tree exit means he won't get a good time this time by. Now, Warren Johnson on an out lap. Let's take a look on board with the driver here and see how he fares around the racetrack. Coming through turn number 1, you keep it nice and tight, but a little bit of overspeed on exit will challenge his run. Coming in through turn number 2, he gets a little bit of love there from a friend, the number 52, as he runs into a friend on the racetrack that he wants to potentially battle it out with. 52 is going to be Stone Colby. They run nose to tail. Drivers out there still doing laps will include the 17 and the 25. Slater Colby and Joe Rainey right behind. Joe Rainey getting a drag through the final sector, moves his way up to top 8. Josh Hunter right now, though, purple sector 2, purple sector 3. Can he stitch it together to find P1 at the end of his run? He comes across the line. Where does Hunter go at the end of the qualifying session? Only good enough for 5th. Darren Colby also finding some purple sectors on the racetrack. Can he stitch together through the trickiest sector in North America? Sector 3 here at VIR. The roller coaster and hog pen. Of course, VIR going with named corners rather than numbered corners. But we still have 14, 15, 16A, 16B, all the way to 17 corners here in Alton, Virginia. Darren Colby in the number 47, trying to stitch it together in the last bit of the qualifying session. And Brendan Birch, of course, in the number 36, 1.5 back from Fletcher. Bit unusual to see Birch this far down the order and Fletcher that far up, honestly. Is a bit surprising. Let's see what he can do to control the field this time around. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell to get notifications for when we go live next here on West Coast Sim Racing every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, racing 3 nights a week. A little bit of a kerfuffle as Brandon Birch gets collected with some drama with the number 16 of Nico Colby. On board with Darren Colby as he crossed the line, still holds on to 11th position, but what about Mr. Joe Rainey? What can he do coming out of the final sector? Oak Tree is going to be very important, but the final sector also critical to get pitch perfect. Juan Cordova, Chilion, Diego Valderrama. Thank you very much, Juan, for joining us in the chat. Look at the draft from the 502. A little bit of push given to Connor T. Cunningham, the driver in front. And Joe Rainey is off, going down the hill, end of the roller coaster, and can't keep it collected. And that will conclude the qualifying session, folks. Or will it, as Warren Johnson might be on a lap as well? No, he concludes the session as well. Jensen McKelkey coming into the final sector. Does see some improvements, but it's a long lap here around VIR. 2:07 being Jensen McKelkey's best lap. He's looking for a 2:04.97 to beat. Coming across the line, not good enough. It will be 2:12.67. And airborne goes McKelkey. We'll have the unofficial results for qualifying here in just a moment, folks. Jerry Fletcher took pole position by just a healthy margin of about a second in front of Nico Colby, then Slater Colby, Brandon Persh, Josh Hunter, Joe Rainey, Connor Cunningham, Jensen McKelkey, Warren Johnson, Virgil Kakdak, Darren Colby, Jacob Bolland, Diego Valderrama, and then Stone Colby rounded out. Take a look at our starting grid. Jeremy Fletcher and Nico Colby on that first row. Starting a little further back will be Slater Colby and Brandon Birch. Row number 3 belongs to none other than Josh Hunter and Mr. Joe Rainey. Row number 4 goes this way. Connor Cunningham and Jensen McKelkey. Row number 5 belongs to Warren Johnson and Virgil Kakdak. Row number 6, Darren Colby and Jacob Bolling. After that, Diego Valderrama and Stone Colby. Drivers gridded up behind the pace car here. We'll go for a full pace lap around VIR. Virginia International Raceway, or simply known as VIR, is one of the greatest old school road courses in the United States. Located near Alton, Virginia, just a few miles from the North Carolina border. The circuit originally opened its doors on August 3rd, 1957, and the original course was carved into the rolling Virginia countryside, and then developed a reputation for being fast, technical, and extremely unforgiving. Just saw a sponsor board in the background for a product that Warren Johnson could probably use. Absolutely amazing that we're seeing targeted ad placement these days. Here's the gaps as the drivers come around the final sector. Let's get your predictions in the chat. Will Jeremy Fletcher come out on top yet again to get the lead of the championship back from none other than Birch? Two by two, Noah's Ark formation. And green, 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 and everybody scatters like cockroaches. And there's drivers off in the background. That might be, I think that is going to be Darren Colby in the background. Number 16 chases down the 22 of Jeremy Fletcher. The battle for the foreground continues. Jeremy Fletcher ahead, the 25 and the 16. Slater Colby and Nico Colby better decide if they want to work together or not. Coming up the hill for the first time, it looks like Connor Cunningham will be the one that loses out ground coming through NASCAR and left hook. Look at the gap that is formed from Jeremy Fletcher to Slater Colby. That's all because looks like Nico Colby went off track. Take a look back here to see what happened to Nico Colby. Oh, as he loses a ton of ground coming out of turn 5 and into the snake. Draft being extremely powerful here at the road course. And it looks like Jensen McKelkey's trying to get the work done on the 17 of Joe Rainey, but it's Stone Colby who has the opportunity to make hay while the sun is shining. Josh Hunter chases down Slater Colby in their battle for P2 and P3. Definitely going to need the competition caution to help out the field to catch up to Jeremy Fletcher. Warren Johnson gets by Diego Valderrama, who's in the background right now with Jacob Ballin and Virgil Kakdak. On the rear of Colby, Stone getting help from Nico right now. Great to see that all the Colbys are back in action. A little bit of help, maybe hurting now, as it looks like the 52 has the 16 to contend with coming through Oak Tree, and this might challenge him again more than it helps him. Let's take a look at the gearbox. There it is. Rather than getting a push, he's really actually getting nothing from the 16. This battle goes all the way to third place. Stone Colby in the mix right now. It's only our second lap completed. It feels like an eternity around this racetrack and these low horsepower machines. The 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder doesn't really overwhelm the rear tires with horsepower. Instead, drivers are going to have to preserve their momentum throughout the race. And it changes the way you race completely. You cannot rely on the throttle to recover from a bad corner. If you lose 5 or 6 miles per hour at an apex, as we saw Nico Colby do, you may carry that loss halfway down the next straight or up the hill through the S's, and that's exactly what happened to Nico. Up ahead, it's Slater Colby and Brandon Birch in the mix right now, because the 36 is definitely a championship contender. Number 25 in third place in the championship right now. And Luke Cantor rounding out the top 5. Cantor not here tonight. Fletcher obviously being in P1, Birch in P3, Colby in P2 and in P8. And there goes Fletcher, and there goes Fletcher, and there goes Fletcher. Where has Fletcher gone? He's no longer with us. Jeremy Fletcher loses connection. This is definitely going to hand the championship over. This hands the battle for the lead over to the trio, Colby, Birch, and Hunter. All the way down the hill into the roller coaster section, the 36, the 25, and the 81 bump uglies. And off goes the 81 of Josh Hunter. He's going to go wheel to wheel with the 17 in the background, losing out a ton of ground. And Josh Hunter's off in the background. It's all up to here. And now the 25. Josh Hunter recovers back to P5 where he started this race. Here we go. A four-way battle for P2. Let's go, folks. Battle for the lead is with Colby and Birch. Battle back there is three wide as we go into turn one. The 17, the 16, and the 81. Hunter's out for blood. Let's go, Nico, as the cheers come out. Off goes the 16 as he carries enough speed to get through the corner, but he's still trying to stay on track. Here's the weather, cloudy conditions, track temperature 70 degrees, air temp 67, and it's dry out there. Nico loves that grass, says Melina Colby. Oh, that's great. Birch, though, under attack. Let's take a look at the gyro and see what he sees. pushing 112, 14, 15, 16 miles an hour into the braking zone right at the 100 board. To the inside line, comes through the 25 on the attack to Brandon Birch. Can the retort be had before we get to the halfway point? Welcome in, Mr. Birch. Welcome in. Just in time to catch the battle for the lead between Slater Colby and Brandon Birch. Slater giving a little bit of love up the hill as the cars bump uglies. Amazing battle into Oak Tree, side by side between Birch and the 25 of Slater. Out to the dirt goes the 25, and who's going to give help where? Don't forget, we do have a competition caution coming out to settle down the field. Pushes being given. The Colbys leaving Birch out to dry. Nico Colby, Brandon Birch, Josh Hunter. Coming into turn one, it will be two abreast in the background. Into the braking zone, Birch is there, but he's too far back. Through goes Birch. Or does he, as he attacks the driver with the Lando Norris helmet? And let's not forget about Darren Colby in the background, because he's battling out with Diego Valderrama. Side by side through left hook into NASCAR bend. All the way. Oh my goodness. Late on the brakes for the 66 of Valderrama. As he cuts through in front of the 47, gets a little touch, and the 47 goes right back. Nico Colby into the lead of this one now as he gets through on Slater. Coming out of South Bend, the move was done there. Then Slater Colby and then Birch. Stone has a lot of work to do to catch up to this packed battle in the Colby train, but if anybody could do it, it's probably Stone. All the way in to the top of the hill, the 36 presents himself alongside, gets through on the number 25, but can he also follow through on the number 16, Nico Colby? Slater's off, getting a little bit of the grass that we all know and love here in Virginia. Maybe it's not the grass that Milena was talking about. Jensen McKelkey in the background, driving the number 41 in the championship as well, but not in it to win it, unfortunately. Let's take another look at the championship top five and where they sit now that Fletcher's out of it. It'll be Birch, Fletcher, Colby, and then Colby in P1. So Birch can still hold on to the lead of this one, but Colby has a lot of points that can come through. Up the hill we go, racing through the S's. Fletcher disconnected. Just disconnected out of thin air. He was in the lead by a country mile as we see the 25 run into the 81, and the concertina effect takes place into the 36, into the 16. Slipstream so powerful here. And here comes 25, a little bit of touch to the 81 out in front. Josh Hunter in the middle of things. Right now, he has to have his rear mirror filled with the number 25 of Slater Colby. Warren Johnson in a bit of a tussle right now with Connor T. Cunningham, the pilot of the 502, who had a little slip up earlier on in the race at left hook. At the halfway point of the race, we are going to call the competition caution, and Warren Johnson with a tank slapper. And the leaders will pick up the pace car. When VIR opened its doors in August of 1957, it became part of the sports car. It didn't become part of the sports car venue until the late 50s and early 60s. It hosted SCCA, National Sports Car Championship races, and over the years, it attracted some of the biggest names in American motorsports. Track's history also includes Trans Am competition, with a 1966 race helping give NASCAR Bend its name after NASCAR stars, including Richard Petty, David Pearson, and Wendell Scott, experienced trouble at that portion of the track. VIR's life didn't last forever, though. The circuit eventually closed its doors in 1974 and sat dormant for nearly 2 decades. It then came one of the greatest racetrack revival stories of all time. Harvey Siegel and Connie Nyholm acquired the property and restored the circuit, reopening VIR in 2000. Rather than dramatically modernizing the original layout, they really retained much of the character that made VIR famous while developing the facilities into a modern motorsports resort. Today, VIR has many configurations, although the classic full course remains the layout most people associate with the circuit. You'll find multiple configurations such as full, north, south, patriot, and the grand course. The full course measures in at 3.27 miles or 5.26 kilometers, whatever that is, with 17 turns in total, and its combination of elevation, blind crests, and fast transitions, and really small runoff area in most locations give it a distinctly old school character. VIR has hosted and continues to host major championships, including IMSA, Trans Am, numerous national club racing events. It's especially famous today as its home of Car and Driver's Lightning Lap, although the event uses VIR's longer 4.1 mile grand course. And perhaps no feature on VIR was more recognizable than its enormous oak tree that once stood beside the oak tree turn. The oak tree became part of VIR's true identity before it fell in 2013. The corner still retains that name to this day. Drivers in these MX-5s are going to have to negotiate plenty of tricky corners here, but what about the cars themselves? The MX-5 Cup uses a 6-speed manual gearbox, which gives the car an old-school feel compared with the sequential gearbox that you'll get with GT and prototype machinery. Lights are out on the pace car, and we're ready to take flight here in Virginia. Ready to go. Nico Colby, Brandon Birch on the outside line. Josh Hunter, Slater Colby, Stone, Joe Rainey, Warren Johnson, Grain in the air as we go racing. Barney waves it furiously for the fans. 3 abreast coming down in towards turn 1. And there's a big slip up. Nico Colby and Slater come together at turn 1. And it's going to be helter-skelter for the field. Josh Hunter now into the lead of this one by 0.3 of a second in front of Brandon Birch. We're still 2 wide in the background. Joe Rainey now ahead of the 502. Connor T. Cunningham. Diego Valderrama climbing up the order. 5 positions gained for him, and he's up and flying by Jensen McKelkey. Josh Hunter hasn't won it yet. Not by a long shot. Not if Birch has anything to say about it. Connor under attack. Jeremy Fletcher back in the mix. What the deuce? Jeremy Fletcher's back in the mix somehow on the lead lap as well. What in tarnation has happened here in Alton, Virginia? He's back up into P5 even. Off in the background, there goes Darren Colby at Hogpen, but here now it's the 22 charging up the field on Joe Rainey. To the inside line of the braking zone, Jeremy Fletcher finds the position there and up into P4. The JFR Esports number 22 charges up and down the order. Jeremy Fletcher gives a big touch and a kiss to Stone Colby up the hill through the S's. Look at how minimalistic his inputs are until he tries to go for a bob and weave there on Stone, who's not giving him much room. Elbows out racing between the two, and Fletcher's off into the grass. Has to go off the throttle and loses ground to Stone Colby. Joe Rainey's there to pick up the pieces as he watches on eagerly. Warren Johnson dukes it out with Jensen McKelkey, the number 41. Slater Colby, the number 25. Nico Colby chases on by a second. Here's the battle, though, between the VehicleBuyers.com machine and the Wheel and Badge machine. Three abreast coming down in towards turn one. The drivers are absolutely insane right now. The 25, and then it'll be the 41 of McKelkey, or will it, as Warren Johnson carries his speed through the corner all the way down towards NASCAR Bend. It'll be McKelkey, then Warren Johnson with a lick of the grass there. And oh my goodness, a big spinner for Johnson as he goes back to the garage. It'll be Jensen McKelkey now in the middle between the duo of the Colbys. Both of the Colbys working together to get by the rest of the field. The 25 leads the 16 for now. Take a look here at the battle for first, because it's definitely not over yet. Josh Hunter, Brandon Birch, Jeremy Fletcher, the 1-2-3 punch combo. Fletcher all the way up from downtown finds out what the lead is like once again after falling out of it. Battle between the 36, the 22, the 31, the 52. Now can JFR Esports clinch the win and the lead of the championship again? "36 of Brendan Birch is the driver I'm keeping my eye on right now, because it's all between him and Fletcher for the championship." Jensen McKelkey gets insult to injury as he comes down pit road, gets a black flag penalty. Fletcher leads this entire back pack all the way to Connor Cunningham. Amazing train right now. Only 10 minutes remain in the session. That means we'll get 5 laps left if we're lucky. There goes Colby. Stone with a big wiggle, got so loose coming out of turn 1 in the background. Not too shabby as the driver gains 10 positions tonight. A bad Birch in the middle between Hunter and Fletcher. "36 has to mount an attack within the next 3 laps. Unless he's stitching up a plan right now to attack on the final lap going into the final corner. Let's find out. Barney's cousin, Farney, sitting there at the marshal's post. Watches on. Or was it Larney? That's Larney. Larney sits at the roller coaster. Farney sits at the top of the hill. And there's Garney. Yep. Battle for the lead. Jensen McKelkey into pit lane to serve that black flag. Will fall prey to his own mistakes, unfortunately. Goes the 36 on the attack to Fletcher to the inside line at turn 1. Forces Fletcher to go a little bit wide. Leaves the racing room. There goes Fletcher around the outside here. And in goes the 36. Nose to tail coming into the final time around next time by. Oh no, a big off there from Josh Hunter in the background, but he's able to recover back into fifth. He's still not out of touch of the battles ahead. A lot can be given or a lot can be lost here. It looks like the 17 is the one trying to gain something. That's going to be Mr. Joe Rainey. Rainey from Rainey Homes. Doing all the slick work out there to stitch it together. Birch into P2, but right here it's Rainey and Hunter. Hunter, what can you do behind? As we go on to the last lap, Barney waved the white flag for us last time by. Now he'll switch it out for the checkered. Oh, excuse me, no. What am I saying? We're going to have 2 more laps. So we have plenty of more racing action left to go. Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît. And Josh Hunter still has opportunities on Joe Rainey here at Oak Tree. He mounts the sausages. This isn't like before. And someone has just cut the track to rejoin the field. We'll find out who that is in just a moment. But right now, Joe Rainey and Josh Hunter nose to tail right now. And Nico Colby in the sandwich. That might be Slater Colby slotting in behind the field. That is Slater Colby who cut across the track and rejoined the field. Nico Colby with a black flag. Slater with a black flag as well. Both of them obviously cutting the track. So here's the real battle for the lead from Fletcher, Birch, and Stone. What a train of cars right now. In a blanket of 2.2 seconds, we have the top 7. Oh, Warren on an injured ankle. I know what that's like, brother. I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. Here we go down the back stretch. Fletcher, Birch, and Stone. Birch on the offense. Fletcher on the defense to the inside at the top of the hill. Down the roller coaster section. The 36 is there. slips in front with a little slide job to the 22 of JFR Esports. Side by side across the stripe. Didn't see the white flag. There it is, the white flag waved by Barney. This time by on board with Brandon Birch right now. On the attack. 22 slots in front, checks up a little bit going up the hill. Birch wants none of that, gives a little kits and steps out of line. Fletcher leads the charge on the final few seconds. Checkered flag is waving. That's absolutely right. This time around, Jeremy Fletcher leads. We'll take a look in the background as Joe Rainey gives a big punt to the 52 of Stone Colby. But the top three remains unscathed. Jeremy Fletcher takes the win in front of Brandon Birch and then Nico Colby. Josh Hunter, Connor Cunningham, Stone Colby, Joe Rainey, Stone Colby, Diego Valderrama, Virgil Kakdak, Darren Colby, Jacob Ballin, and Jensen McKelkey rounded out. We'll take a look at the unofficial results here in just a moment as the drivers conclude the session. What a race and what a recovery there from Jeremy Fletcher at the end of the night. Disconnecting, coming back, and recovering all the way up to take the battle win. What a drive. What a championship this is turning out to be, folks. Here are the results for the race. Jeremy Fletcher, Birch, Nico Colby, the 1, 2, 3, and Stone getting the Hard Charger Award. Josh Hunter in fourth, Connor Cunningham, Slater Colby, Joe Rainey, Stone Colby, Diego Valderrama, Virgil Kakdak, Darren Colby, Jacob Ballin, Jensen McKelkey, and Warren Johnson with his injured ankle rounded out. No puns intended. Let's go ahead and talk to the drivers and see how they fared for their race.
We literally didn't even touch.
First and foremost, we're going to go ahead and talk to Nico Colby, the number 16, who came home in third place, but had a bit of a recovery for the main race tonight. How about the 16, Nico Colby? How was your race this evening? That was a pretty exciting one out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, it was fun. Just definitely this track's fun to race, but got a little bit in some incidents, but it was just all racing incidents, just bad luck on the side. But overall, good race, fun race.
It looked like it was fun, to say the least. The battles that remained side by side lasted nearly the entire lap. What is it about VIR that makes it so special?
All the draft and all the wide open corners just going so fast throughout the whole track, especially in these cars.
Right on, Nico. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or anybody you'd like to thank here on the podium from Alton, Virginia?
You, of course, for the broadcast, Warren for setting up the league, everyone that helps with the league, vehicle buyers, mom, dad, and just everyone that comes out and races.
Agreed. Thank you very much, Nico, for your support for West Coast Sim Racing. Have a great night and stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll talk to the championship leader coming into this race. It's Brandon Birch, the number 36, who came back to recover to P2. Birch, actually, you didn't need to recover this time. You pretty much stayed in the top 5 the entirety of this event. How does it feel to finally have a consistent one?
Yeah, no, it's nice to not have to be trying to catch up from the back the whole time. But I'll say the same thing I said in GR. Virginia's not really my best track, so I was just trying to stay in the draft and work together with everybody and stay in the fight.
Well, you definitely managed to do that. Even when things weren't looking your way and you were sitting towards the south end of the top 5 at the beginning of the race, how do you keep your composure and how do you make that determination that you can climb back up?
I mean, the draft definitely helps out, but I just slot in where I need to slot in and, work together as a team to catch up to the front. And when the door's left wide open, just take it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Copy that. And what sly question I'm going to ask is, what happens when the door is not wide open?
Well, it just depends on who it is and where you're at. Sometimes you got to make the door wide open, and other times you just kind of sit back and wait for another turn. So,
copy that. Who'd you like to thank and who'd you like to shout out tonight, Brandon Birch?
Oh, yeah, you for the broadcast, Warren for the league, vehiclebuyers.com, JFR Esports, my dad and Steck in the chat watching.
Right on. Thank you very much, sir. Have a great night. Stay safe, and thank you for supporting West Coast Sim Racing.
Thanks.
Last but not least, we'll talk to the driver that pretty much had a black flag for the race, came down pit road, and then recovered somehow. Jeremy, what happened to your race? How did it all work out in your favor?
It's the same thing as Bathurst race 1. Internet or something decided to close iRacing halfway through the race. So knew I had the pace. Didn't really worry too much. Knew I had the caution coming, and with a fast car, I just kind of tried to keep my head down and pull away. So couldn't crash anybody out front.
I mean, just a tremendous drive again. I mean, what is it really all about? As I get back into sim racing again, what does it take to pull out, extract the most from a car when, for a driver like me, that's 2 seconds off of your pace, the alien pace? What do I do to get those last tenths out of every corner?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's all seat time. Everyone in this league, I felt like when I came in was a little bit off, and they've kind of matched my pace. But if you go back and look at qualifying today, I was a second clear of the field, so there's not much many people can do. It's time, dedication, learning about how the car works, the geometry of it, the setup changes. I sat there and made a setup, so nobody could complain that I crashed them. So just put my head down and drove away.
Copy that, Jeremy. Anything you'd like to say to your fans, or who'd you like to shout out or thank tonight?
The whole JFR Esports program, rebranding that currently, so that'll be something to go check out. The Colby family, Rainey family, Jason for letting me use a sim, you for putting on this broadcast, Warren for putting together league, and everyone that shows up week in, week out and puts a show on.
Oh, with the brand coming out, we'll definitely have to stitch something together for the broadcast for you, Jeremy Fletcher. Thank you for your support for West Coast Sim Racing, brother. Have a great night and stay safe out there.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Folks, with that being said, we're going to close things out. All good things have to come to an end. Unfortunately, so shall this. Folks from Alton, Virginia, it's been a pleasure to take you from green to checkered flag, but as I said, all good things have to come to an end. On behalf of AK Esports, on behalf of West Coast Sim Racing, I'd like to extend my gratitude to everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for your love and support. It goes a long way to helping us out week in, week out. Have a great night, everybody, and most importantly, stay safe out there. Goodbye for now.
A blood-red sunrise dawning, while we always up to the next day morning. And with all the chemicals worn out, made me feel good now. I be drowning in you, so thirsty, couldn't care less how